Can I ask you something honestly? If your life keeps going exactly like it is right now, same routine, same habits, same comfort, do you think the future you will thank you for it? Or will he sit somewhere one day, looking at his life, and quietly say, why didn't I push myself when I still had time? Listen, I'm not saying this as a motivational speaker. I'm saying this like an older brother who has seen things go wrong. And I don't want you to repeat those same mistakes. But let me tell you something that I learned after watching people ruin their potential. Comfort doesn't destroy your life in one big moment. It does it quietly, year by year. And if someone had told me this earlier, I would have avoided a lot of mistakes. So listen to me like you would listen to an older brother who has already seen what happens next. A few weeks ago, my younger cousin asked me something. He said, "Brother, how do people end up wasting their potential?" It was a good question, because nobody wakes up one day and decides, today I'll ruin my life. It happens slowly through something that feels completely harmless. And that's the comfort. And I told him a story. When I was younger, there were two guys in my college. Same age, same opportunities. Let's call them James and Henry. James' life was smooth, supportive family, decent money, no serious pressure. He could afford to relax. And that's the thing he did. He would say things like, why stress so much? Life should be enjoyed. And he was not wrong, but he slowly stopped pushing himself. Assignments done last minute, plans always postponed, ambitions always delayed. Meanwhile, Henry's life was different, not tragic, just harder. His family needed him to succeed. So he woke up earlier, worked harder, tried things, failed, tried again. Nothing glamorous. Just effort. At first, you couldn't see any difference. They both laughed, both hung out, both lived in normal lives. But something invisible was happening. One was building discipline, and the other was building comfort. And those two things lead to completely different futures. 5 years later, we met again, and the gap was shocking. Henry had grown, confident, skilled, direction. Meanwhile, James was still saying the same sentence. Bro, I just need to get serious. But here's the painful truth. Comfort had already trained him not to get serious. You know what the worst part is? People trapped in comfort don't even realize it, because their life is not painful enough to force change. They're not starving. They're not desperate. They're just comfortable enough to stay the same. And that is the most dangerous place a human can live. Because growth requires friction, but comfort removes friction. Let me explain something that I learned the hard way. And this is something most people don't understand. Your brain hates discomfort. If something feels difficult, your brain immediately searches for an easier option. That's why scrolling feels easier than studying. Watching feels easier than building. Talking about goals feels easier than chasing them. And the more comfort you give your brain, the weaker your discipline becomes. It's like a muscle. If you never challenge it, it slowly disappears. By the way, if this kind of honest conversation is useful to you, subscribe to this channel. Because sometimes, all we need is someone to remind us of things we already know, but keep ignoring. And now I'm going to tell you one thing that I eventually realized in this life. Successful people are not always smarter. They just refuse to stay comfortable for too long. They train their minds to accept difficulty. They choose effort even when nobody is watching. And that's the difference. Comfortable people ask, how can I make life easier? Focused people ask, how can I make myself stronger? So, if I could give you advice like a big brother, it would be this. First, don't trust comfort too much. If your life feels easy all the time, you're probably not growing. Second, do something difficult every day. Don't wait for life to become difficult before you start growing. Introduce difficulty yourself. Something that forces you to think, to struggle, to improve. It could be learning a skill, building something, training your body, or anything that reminds you that progress requires effort. Third, respect your future self. Every decision you make today is building the life that future you will live. So ask yourself sometimes, will future me thank me for for this or regret it? And actually, I also want to ask you something. Be honest in the comments and write, I'm fighting it. Because sometimes admitting the problem is the first step to escaping it. Let me leave you with something important. Most people think their life will change because of one big opportunity, but that's rarely how it happens. Life changes because of small daily decisions. The problem with comfort is that it convinces you that those small decisions don't matter. Until one day you wake up, years later, and realize something painful. You didn't fail, you just chose comfort too many times. And by the time you understand that, life has already moved on. So, if you take advice from me like an older brother, don't wait for pain to wake you up. Wake yourself up before comfort ruins your potential.